I'll bring it. Sure.
Alright, we're back. Or the other way to put it, to the guys outside. Come on, motherfuckers! Ah! Alright, we're gonna do the second half of this reading now.
Mike's gonna make us shut up.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not too bad at that either, so. Okay, so now I have, so he's technically our future, but he's not gonna be the closer for the night. It's not a time-honored tradition, but it's happened a couple times before.
A breakage of tradition.
You brother. All right, so I was gonna say some fancy, nice stuff about Mike. And, I mean, I've obviously hung out on the Poet Smoker's porch a lot. We've talked weird shit about God being a wildcat, all these other weird things. And for him and his poetry is an excellent, it's like watching an exorcism. And he's changed his style multiple times, but it's still like watching an exorcism. And I mean that in the best possible ways. So, when I first saw Mike Reed, this is the story I'm going to tell. I hope most of you have read Moby Dick, or at least a big chunk of it. Because when I first saw Mike Reed, it reminded me of kind of the first chapter of it. So Mike comes in, and he's, this pleasant guy in a red sweater, sheep hat, his little bird glasses, long goatee, and very mannerly, and almost seems timid. Then he reads, and the thing that came to mind was in Moby Dick when Ishmael is sitting in the bed that he's supposed to split with this guy that he's never met before, and Queequeg comes through the door with the spear in one hand and the severed head in the other. My jaw drops just like I'd fucking seen Queequeg when Mike reads. He's still Queequegging me, as he is everybody. So, all right, let's give it up for Michael Queequeg. Come on.
We no longer believe reality is a plane crashing into the finger-painting wing of a mental hospital, or that smoke rises from torched, dilapidated souls. This is absurd good news. I crawl to your body amazed, the mind parasites at bay, memories irrelevant, caresses, endless wine, the sun gilding your eyelash, stoppage of time, switch flipped to dream, and my mind becomes the cat that happily sentinels the ledge and feline forever, and your hand is a warm spring sun, and God is where the pelvis meets the sun, the tongue, that is. Hi, happy to be here. Thanks for coming out on a nice night. Reading some new stuff tonight on the last 2 months, and thank you. Zero Eyes needs a name. Boyhood werebears splashing in the moon bath, sliding down that lubed hypotenuse to confusement. Fathers in the closet rooting around for the right tool. It's a sunny day in Michigan, Mom says. That's nice, Mom. I'll dream of free Cambrian, red lights, and the goodness of trilobite kisses. There are zero eyes in this poem, so don't expect me or anyone else to see. There's no resurrection for that ranting guy, no more I, just leaves blowing and dandelions middle fingering the neighbor's lawn fetishes. The baby squirrel with the purple cast begged me to change, said my eyes and mouth had said and seen enough. How can I not listen to that tiny, pitiful, thing, so I jettisoned that annoying eye with ranting voice. Maybe he rants in the Andromeda Galaxy now. Newness knows Jesus' peace beyond understanding now. Newness kisses the skeleton in bed where the hair was, where the heroin addict hair was. Newness is also lonely. Newness moves the stars for no one. The wind is at the door. Mom says she likes the way I write now. That's nice, Mom. What a horrible place this is. It's not fair. I've risen because something bad is happening to the animals. That's all. I've traded my voice for wings. Unlike Wicked's monkeys, I wanted to, sliding down that lewd hypotenuse to happiness. The inspiration extinguisher's been paid off, so she's finally left Confusement's amusement park. Crazy Land has no sun, just an apricot moon with the tongue. The oracle reclines on a throne of bones. Says I can cancel that trip to the suffering time zone where the testament of tears is secretly buried. Nothing new here, she says, just pain. It's okay that we're dead, like our friend says. If Earth existed, it seems like it would be like this. And all that fighting we did was earthbound. We got the werebears in the moon bath here. We got the radical fairies playing ring around the rosy around planets with silly names. Boredom was earthbound. A shredded balloon flaps where the open mic God once ranted. It was a big balloon. Fun to tongue and slap around at parties. The baby squirrel with the purple cast popped it, and my heart has changed, so I need a new name. You know, what's really cool is as you get older, and in 10 days, I'll be blowing out 45 candles on my crazy vagina cake. I'm very, very proud of that. It's like, you know, as you get older, you get a little more mature, and you start writing, like, super serious work like this from the Damned One's watchtower. What we need here are the delicate hands of a master. But there is no master, no hands, just rough scrub and mandibles scuttling the rock for crumbs, ancient bubbles blown from the lips of long-dead little girls popping unsung in the desert, and vapors noxious in the night, tentacling towards our pores. The remnant is small. The sun is a lizard's eye. Quirky now, the trees shrunk, the skeletal hedges, food for the hares who've grown with new eyes and tripled libido, and daffodils uprooting themselves for a taste of meat. Things aren't getting worse, the Damned One says. We've always been the dead. At dawn, the remnant sings for the angel they now believe in. They believe because she finally came crashing into the sand one Sunday, sounding like hooting hens or a woman's orgasm. But we knew it wasn't that. The times of orgasm had passed, and the hens were something the ancestors ate. The moon looks like a saggy bagpipe tonight, praying for great's not coming. Can we make out now? The Tin Man's tear ducts are rusted shut. It took 5 minutes for his brain to explode. The Damned One rants amid the ruined computers, skeletons of relatives, and splattered brain duct. I want to make a baby, and mistake shall be its name. The angel seemed to exhausted to process this. She babbled about her failed career in apocalypse management. Her appearance reflected a lack of benefits. Gray wings, gray teeth, in need of bleach. I'm sorry I've ruined your glee, she said. Sometimes my glee's disturbing, he said, so it's okay. Her crushed fingers twitched in the sand. Take these in remembrance of me, she said, then handed him a golden ticket to Mars and a bottle of Viagra. Yeah, that's what seriousness looks like as you become an older poet. Seriousness. Very serious. Sometimes people say that my poems don't make sense because they're not like making a whole, and I say, well, it's wired. All that matters is they make sense to me because it's just the imagination having a good time. It's a lot better than suicide. Unplugging the stars from Idaho. Some blasphemous jackass thing unplugged the stars from Idaho, replaced them with serrated blades. Finally, the night is complete, restored to its original order, demanding sacrifice. It's absolutely true. Just ask my dead grandparents. May is machine made, and where's my crazy vagina cake? Wash your soul before seeing me. Get all pretty for Big Brother. I'm vibrating again. The eruption's coming. Zombies chalking the sidewalk. Depictions of the prettiest star. Take a seat for this liquid last supper. Let's sing as we skeleton forth. Ovaries should lie fallow sometimes to keep the field fresh. That thing squawking at your breast is a lizard, not a baby. I don't want to see your lizard pictures, and I'm just a fiction to draw you in. What a world! What a world! She was melting. Screaming emoticons. Church ladies are licking crayons, and you must be an animal. You made me an animal. You must be a god. You made me an animal. See, sometimes when you get too drunk and you're a poet in an open mic, you just kind of like fuck up and repeat yourself. What I would encourage the kids to do is just move on as if nothing happened. The poetry of scarecrows, because it's all about the poetry of scarecrows. In the hours beneath the dusk, with wine spilt on sheets and cigarette burns and drool on pillows, live love and lines composed for God. The dream things and celestial knickknacks, the eyeballs lost in suburban backyards, crystals for telling tornadoes and dead things, and mom calls and connects with the sun. When she speaks of the end, I get calm. Mountains ready to leap from their gowns, this ghost-silvered century madness howls, and all that prowls also cries for home. We, the blind, await, the dream things come. It's a wild goose chase to find myself, thus the advantage of two brains. Popeye's got a hankering for tigers now. Spinach leaves him starving for the poetry of scarecrows. Stark, real thing, the language of wind and the geese who converse with wind away from the city's glint and fist. Yeah. Thank you, Jonathan and Jeffrey, for reading tonight. And Janelle, who will read later. End Time Wine. She kept the children in behavior modification cages. He achieved transcendent calm watching torture movies. The children clawed for food and memorized the commercials stuffed. They could hear nothing else. As the century crawled towards its machine conformity, theirs became the model for the perfect family. Before the flabby skeleton left with a bobblehead, fuck you, her eyes glittered with tales of werebears and Ouija boards. We danced in our straitjackets and made headway at our collaborative chronicling of Payne's alphabet. Runes of a new age, gender bleeding onto the page. There's a hole in the dream for snakes to get in. She touches tongue to flowers, conflagrates the garden. The gargoyle sits on the forever 5:15 alarm clock, overlooking sticky notes of last century's failed poems. And he's been stocking up, shotgunning the medicine. The static electricity legacy of the guy who died crackles on. He's happy the funeral was popular and Rose's throne. He had a robot in his mind that malfunctioned at times. He who remains has a robot who works fine. Enjoyed End Time Wine, writes nights, published, paid. Here's an example of my new psychological wellness. Masturbating against heaven. Sometimes I make out with my own arm because I'm lonely. You ever done that? It's comforting. I know. I'm too old to be ashamed. Life is hard. Like sweating against that dream of mom screaming at me. Some cognitive disaster happened last night. I've never cried against my father. That's the disaster. Not that there's no woman in bed to smell how sickly foul my dread sweat is. Perhaps the woman would forgive me like the squirrels do. There's something about the feeding of nuts and animal forgiveness. The empathy of fur and wings and the constant mortality threat. If the vampires held a convention, there'd be no blood left, and surely I'd feel more intelligent and less nervous. All the old ladies at work think I'm a nice, stable young man. Would they think this if I fell to my knees and cried against their cunts? I'm not being weird. I need to cry against something real. There was that 5-year-old self who banged his head against the wall, crying. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Cosmos? It matters like the dry humping I'm sorry for. I'm just as wounded as you. Grandma's ghost still sets off the smoke alarm. Don't tell me I'm courageous or beautiful. Just don't report me to the cops for masturbating against heaven. I'm just a man who wanted a chance, but I love stories more than motorcycles. So nail me to the fag tree and stab my corpse with a trophy. Now, sometimes we have to write love poems because we think we should, although most of them are ridiculous. It's good to write them a bit off-kilter. Time to drop the pantomimes to address the problem of the Martian waters. The face has stopped stoning. Revision lifted the kingdom. The story is vast, like what the monkeys did. The psychic strat has been loosened. Eyes pinned to canvas, bleeding borealis. My hands have sinned themselves invisible. Where the kiss meets the middle finger, we danced. So paint them back, O priest of a cult called difficult. The poltergeist could have been more considerate and the munchkins a little less drunk. Sympathetic magic kept the girl toys going. Trusting Mars with time lock and knife. The lightning of left brain memory. Not afraid, not stoned by your face. That brings us to the case of the insane baby. Skeletons covered with injuries, my everlasting batteries. But don't worry. I can switch to white noise when you're sick of my words. Splashing into the wet, red, happy, this all makes sense to me. While the human sleeps, I've plucked the logic from elsewhere. Almost done here. I want to read my Mayday, Mayday, Mayday poem. You know, when I write about politics, I don't have much good to say about it. Mayday! The village genius's genitals were fed to the pigs, rectum plugged as a warning to the others. An example of high consciousness can't be suffered, the assistant manager said. She lifted her shirt, demanded a tramp stamp from the dick who dishes out crack for a suck. And the children played with their robots as vocalizations from the obese factory worsened, and my sleeping beauty grows gold as I can't shake her awake. Those I love most are losing it. I cry about this, kiss my voodoo doll, then conjure cyst sacks and syphilis for it. America is my doll's name. A million souls pepper sprayed today. Time to buy the assistant manager a therapy alligator. Grandmothers want a fair shake for their kids. For this, they're forced to wear American flag pins and salute the banks or be crucified by Boy Scouts. Meanwhile, the whitest black on the planet jokes to the billionaires about hope. Then Reptile Cheney tongues him and says, well done, my good and faithful servant. And I want to end with one more, just because I'm really excited about my imagination. Her tongue is stuck in a catatonic jungle. I can save it, counselor. The blonde rhythm sucks the essentials from muck. We'll live to read Leslie's new stuff and punch the puckered lips of universe. They ain't taking 25% down the bullshit hole. They ain't gonna garnish pennies without blood. The secretary emailed a frown with exclamation point, which means unleash the slaves and fight. That meandering, ecstatic, weeping demon beneath your skirt wants to get intimate with that something awful part of me, and my unnatural love of licking badges says yeah. I get paid to be stampeded by herds of dirty. I'm the horse bucking the 3 a.m. Unreal Rider, yeah. Let's allow the clowns to close out our shift. Let's holiday play in that long funhouse poem, yeah. Rockin' unnatural attachments, apocalyptic nuance, broken pottery, and seared histories of suns breaking. The tree is Asian monstrosity with pods that refuse to bloom. Just pull on that trunk stuck in the quicksand and see. May it be snake or staff according to your needs. Save the deviations of the unclothed, part 1, including the subtitled paragraph, Nethers on fire. Hey man, I'm scripture amid the languishment, but I ain't disarming suffering's nuclear stockpile pile. No matter how great the sex imprinted upon stone, understand you're wisdomed by a man whose idea of heaven is a teddy bear with 3 holes, man-made in times of unwisdom. You're welcome. Now listen. Thanks.